Okay, you're thinking about converting to an EV, but you don't understand how you're saving money or how all these cool kids are talking about all of this stuff about how horrible it is compared to an EV. So, this spreadsheet's going to try to give you a hand with that. I do know it's subjective. I do know people's mileage will vary, to use a analogy. Um, what my goal here was trying to prove that my conversion was going to pay for itself, meaning I still am going to end up with a car payment, but all the money I'm saving basically neutralizes it. So keep that in mind as we go through this process. You will probably end up in a different spot. So I'll talk about my scenario. I had 4 vehicles, 2 people driving. It was ridiculous. I just said, hey, it's time to start getting rid of this stuff. So I started to offload vehicles, and then from there I was able to keep track of how much I was saving on insurance and car maintenance. This car maintenance is not representative to the amount of maintenance that I was physically paying on those 3 cars. This is more representative to 1 car. I just want to call that out. So if you were to add this up, and again, your mileage analogy will vary because you either do the maintenance yourself, you pay a dealer and or a shop to do it, or you have an uncle who just likes to tinker on your car. Either way, I know you're paying for base parts, maybe tools. Just try to be honest about that, because that's going to equate to things that you're no longer spending money on, like oil, transmission, coolant, radiators, sensors on those vehicles that commonly fail, all the emissions controls, your muffler falling off, all of that stuff. So again, we're just looking at the term. In my scenario was going to be 60 months. You're going to continue saving beyond that. Okay, but I'm just looking at the window of 5 years. In fact, you can elevate it even far more. So if you're taking your loan out to 84 months, you could go to 7 years. And when you do that, everything else here is going to get adjusted because your car payment's going to drop, and everything else. There we go. All right, so again, if you don't have a lot of cars, you can come to the insurance workbook and zero that out. You can also zero out the registration tags and such. Now, I will call out, when you get a new vehicle, sometimes your registration tags are going to end up costing more than your old 3 or 4-year-old vehicle, or 5-year-old vehicle for that matter. You could even have your car for the last 10 years. But what I'm trying to call out here is the amount of money you're spending on gas. It's already enticing because I'm saving 88% home charging this vehicle versus driving in my Camaro. So that's huge, and that adds up pretty fast. So when you think about a car loan that you would have to go get if you were replacing this vehicle, you're still going to have a car payment. You're still going to have depreciation. You're probably going to end up with gap insurance. So all of that's going to equate to a high car payment. This is calling out that this transition has paid for itself, meaning the money out that you already have going on related to all of this basically neutralized. So it's still going out, it's just going into a better car, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of different ways you could look at this, but I just want to call that out. So I actually list out your goal, meaning does all of this add up to this number? Because I'm 104% of my goal, meaning my car payment's going to be lower a little bit than what I had going out. There's a little bit more in my back pocket, and I'm getting a better vehicle as a result. So there might be an EV credit, there might not. Again, zero it out if you don't like that. You might have to put down money for a reservation, like on a Rivian or a Tesla. Some of the other brands also have pre-order pre-order reservations. You might have some out of pocket on premium connectivity or some other type of equivalent. So I take that off of your savings over here. I'm not actually having to pay for this yet. I still got 12 months for free, but I put it in there anyway. You are going to have some related accessories that you're going to purchase for the vehicle. I didn't put these into any calculations. I just wanted you to be aware you need to check on the federal tax credits related to wall connectors and or wall chargers. You also want to check with your local power company. They informed me after the fact that had I used a licensed or permitted electrician, they would have refunded the labor to some degree. So be aware of that. And then again, get your power company data, get your gas data, get your equity data, plan for your maintenance. We'll just take a quick look at that. Your intervals, what you're paying. Again, if you're taking it to a dealer, this is going to skyrocket. I would probably fathom that I'm saving a third over taking it to a dealer. But I do know crap happens. In case anyone's wondering, the 2014 Paceman, after I picked it up from the dealer, they really pushed me into a $2,400 or $2,500 extended warranty, and they recommended it because I think they knew the clutch was probably going to go out. And me being the first time I've been in a Mini coming off of a manual transmission Camaro, I knew it felt weird, but I didn't know it because I had nothing to base it on because it was a little Euro car. So yeah, sure enough, the transmission failed, and that that would have probably costed $3,000, $4,000 at the dealer. I don't think I would have attempted that myself. So yeah, and that was at 20,000 miles. Okay, so anybody who's coming from another vehicle and you have your own idea of what reliability means, then take it all with a grain of salt. But just know this: the more honest you are here, then that'll help. And I do realize you might have situations where the dealer's paying for your oil, and we could argue over who's really paying, but we'll just leave that there. All right, we'll come back here. So if you get this all plugged in, you're going to end up with your own truth. I also do want to call out, a lot of people thought my power bill was going to just skyrocket, and that's not the case. So yeah, just know that a month I'm only spending $26, whereas on gas I would have been spending $231. Yeah. All right, so if you don't have very good credit, fix this. Tesla themselves, if I was going through theirs, I think their rate was around 2.4 from memory. I felt like I could get a better rate outside of that experience, and the answer was yes. Be aware banks offer different discounts. If you've gotten a savings account with them, they might give you a 0.75% off. That all starts to add up. Again, this was like fractional, so I wasn't even really concerned that I had a loan in that situation because of this number, basically nullifying that number. So the whole car, that whole migration and transition paid for itself. There's a breakout of terms down here, so if you don't know what some of this stuff is, I do go into it. If you'd like me to expand on anything further, and one thing I would recommend you do is go check out a Better Route Planner. Pretty awesome app for kind of taking a different approach to a drive over what you might do with your own EV navigation app, if you will. Especially if you're like me, a little more spontaneous, you don't want to stick to the script. Maybe you like shorter charges but more of them versus longer charges. It's all just totally up to you. And then Tesla has one as well. That'll give you a better idea about where superchargers are on common trips you take. And that'll also give you an idea for maybe how long you might be sitting, because a Better Route Planner actually lets you show how much charge you have when you leave your house and how much charge you want at your destination. That lets you tune it better so it can kind of plan out how that may go. All right. I'm going to leave it there. So any questions, let me know. I'll leave a link to this document in the YouTube channel here. That way anybody can download it. You get your own copy of it. Be aware I do sometimes update it, so you can always come back and click it and you'll get the new copy. If you make any recommendations, absolutely let me know. I've had a few of my own ideas, but I don't want to go too crazy. As you can see, this is already like borderline geek. All right, talk to you later.